So hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, and as usual we'll be doing the Hindu analysis of Delhi edition, and obviously we'll first identify the main important news and then it would be followed by a detailed discussion. So without wasting time, let's move on and identify the most important news. Okay, so let's see. India sent notice to Pakistan to amend 1960 Indus Pact. Okay, we'll be doing it very briefly because India has sent notice only. It has no judgment has come. Okay, and let's see. Okay, there is nothing here. Tamil is the oldest language. Let you just know nothing here. Okay, fine. So one news on first page. Okay, so there is nothing here. There is nothing on here also. Fine, nothing here. Okay, there is nothing here. Okay, nothing here. Gunshot wounds on captured elephant. PT7 raises concern. Veteran actress Jamuna passes away. Okay, Telugu actor she was. Fine, there is nothing here as well. Okay, we'll do this one very briefly again. Rise in water but count recorded in Kerala's capital, because Kerala has the avian red book, right? Means it has a red book for the birds. Okay, so in that context we have to see what is there, the moral and intellectual rise in economic policies. Okay, economic growth must create equal opportunities for all in India, and learn to earn with dignity. The leaders of the country must give shape to this in the new. Okay, India groundwater governance is in better shape. Fine, we'll do this. Groundwater has been in use for some time, right? Great expectation regarding budget. Let the budget be passed, then we'll see how it unfolds. Founding idols, we'll do this. Okay, I don't see this one coming. Okay, fine, we'll do this moral and intellectual crisis very briefly, and then we'll reach a conclusion that whether it should be done properly or not. Okay, ground zero report. There is nothing. We don't usually do this. RBI SEBI should probe charges against Adani Group, says Congress. Okay. Boycott culture targeting film sends out a wrong message. Okay. Take your own decision or JDU will be destroyed soon. Not required. Omar Abdullah joins Bharat Joro Yatra in Kashmir. It is for image of the country. Okay. Nothing on this page also. Nothing seems to be important here. Okay. Cheetah project to bring in 12 cats from South Africa. Both countries signs a long-lasting pact. Okay, we'll see it very briefly because some more cheetahs are being transferred. So we have to see this where they are actually being kept. Okay. And pensioner questionnaire not required. Not required. Kashmir's Pashmina shawl get a new age French touch. Okay. West Bank on edge after Israeli raid, rocket attack. Putin blast neo-Nazi on Holocaust Memorial Day. Zelensky said indifference kills among what he is not required. Baku blames Iran, not required. Through elections and not required. Home Minister to quit after SC says he is not a NEPA, not required. SEBI said today security of Adani Group transaction. Okay, we'll do this because RBI governor has said something. So current account deficit is manageable, says RBI governor. We'll be doing this. Okay. And now we are on the sports page, and then India lost yesterday, I think. I've not seen the match, but I think India has lost yesterday. Okay. And yes, Conway, Mitchell and spinner deliver for New Zealand. Yes, India lost yesterday. Okay, so we are done identifying the most important news. Now let's go on and analyze the most important news. Okay. So India sends notice to Pakistan. We have to do this. Let's see. Islamabad approaches the Court of Arbitration in The Hague, raising concerns over two hydropower projects in Jammu and Kashmir. Indian officials say it goes against the pre-existing channel of dispute resolution. Okay, it goes against the pre-existing channel of dispute resolution. So why India has sent a notice to Pakistan? Because they have approached this Court of Arbitration in The Hague. Now we know that Indus Water Treaty has its own arbitration mechanism, okay, where parties sit together and reaches a conclusion. But here what it is, they have gone to the Court of Arbitration. Let's see. The Indus River is crucial for both India and Pakistan. Indus Water Treaty of 1960. Let's have a brief look at it. Indus system of river comprises of the main river and its tributary Ravi, Beas, Satluj, Jhelum, Chenab. Treaty provides India absolute control of Ravi, Satluj and Beas. Pakistan shall have unrestricted use of all waters of Indus, Jhelum and Chenab. Okay. India is permitted to use the water of western rivers for domestic use, non-consumptive use, agriculture and generation of hydroelectric power subject to certain conditions. India announced on Friday that it wants to modify the 62-year-old Indus Water Treaty with Pakistan, citing what is called Pakistan intransigence in resolving the dispute over the Kishanganga and Ratal hydropower project, both in Jammu and Kashmir. India also protested Pakistan's unilateral decision to approach Court of Arbitration. Sources say that government has written to Pakistan on January 25th calling it modification to the treaty as per Article 12 Part 3 of IWT that deals with the final provision of the treaty. The final hearing of Pakistan case at PCA at The Hague in Netherlands began on Friday, with India boycotting the court process. The decision to issue notice to Pakistan with a request of response within 90 days is a major step and could lead to an unraveling and renegotiation of the water sharing treaty. The treaty is often seen as a rare example of India-Pakistan consensus at a time when the two nations have snapped trade and cultural relations and most bilateral talk. The sources said that Pakistan moved to push the World Bank for a court of arbitration ran counter to the pre-existing channel of dispute resolution through a neutral expert appointed by the World Bank. Okay, so this was the dispute resolution mechanism that the treaty envisaged, but but Pakistan went where? It went to this International Court of Arbitration, right? And that's why this entire dispute came in picture. Indian officials said that parallel processes instead of graded mechanism had led to stalemate, adding that India was left with no choice but to demand that Pakistan come onto the table to negotiate amendments to the treaty. Officials declined to comment on what modifications India wanted, right? So it's a good move by India, good diplomatic move as well, because you see that Pakistan has gone out of the protocol of the treaty to a court of arbitration, right? And therefore India demands of an amendment to 1960 Indus Pact. Maybe on the first instance it could add that yes, the arbitration can be done through court of arbitration as well. So this could be one of the amendment. Other amendments could be as and what demanded, right? Okay, so let's move on. After 90 days we will come to know what actually is the condition, and there is a hearing also going on in Hague. So let's see how it unfolds, right? And yes, here it is. Rise in the water bird count recorded in Kerala capital. The Asian Water Bank census 2023 has recorded 65% increase in water bird in Kerala Trivandrum district amid the single chipping. Okay. Despite the concern posed by anthropogenic activities, the annual consensus was jointly conducted by WWF and Social Forestry Wing of okay. Fine, there are some birds named here. Now we'll see some of the names of the bird so that actually we can identify it during examination. Okay. So let's see. Including migratory one like Pacific golden plover, western yellow wagtail, white wagtail, painted stroke, Eurasian spoonbill, wood sandpiper, grey-headed lapwing. Look, you can see the names. It is generally either related to the color or to the type of beak they have, or to the type of wings or legs or something like that. It is related generally to the morphology of the bird. Okay, such as great crested terns, greater and lesser sand plovers, Kentish plovers, etc. Fine. So this is what we needed to know. We don't need to do a lot of things, we just need to do the main thing, right? So first we see the founding ideals. Adherence to principles of constitution is what unifies India. In her first customary Republic Day address to the nation, President Murmu reiterated the founding ideals of Republic on the eve of 74th anniversary of adoption of Constitution. As the first tribal woman to occupy the highest office, the 15th President of India is emblematic of Republic continuing journey of democracy, pluralism, and empowerment of the weaker section. The value of fraternity and democracy that its founding letter etched into the genetic makeup of modern nation were derived from the learnings of the ancient civilization. Ms. Murmu underscored the quality of republic, the amalgamation of old and new, the traditional and the modern, a unified and unifying struggle against the British imperialism, as the president noted, was as much about winning independence as about rediscovering our own ideals. Ms. Murmu laid emphasis on the essence of India, which is profound and predictable at once. We have succeeded because so many creeds and so many languages have divided us. They have only united us. A commitment to this creed has sustained the modern nation and the long and ancient civilizations that evolved and reformed over millennia. It can be argued that Republic is continuously information as thought and the ideas emerge as new ambition inspire the country. Some foundational principle must remain timeless. Course for the survival and success. Ms. Murmu's address reiterated those while celebrating India's success in various fields, particularly the economy, while noting India's emergence as influential leader in global affairs. She underscored the principle of Sarvodaya and Atmanirbhar Bharat. Okay? Uplifted all and all those things she has said. Okay? Just give it a read. This is what the presidential speech on eve of Republic Day is, right? India groundwater governance is in better shape. Okay. Is a joint secretary department of river resources, Ganga Ministry of Jal Shakti. So this is a very important article. We have to do it part by part because it is directly from a joint secretary level. Okay, the government's intervention for better and scientific management of groundwater situation in India reflect the spirit of cooperative federalism in managing the precious resource. Let's see. Data show that India, with nearly 18% of world population, occupies about 2.5% of geographical area and consumes 4% of total water resources. A World Bank report says that India is the largest groundwater user. Rapidly growing economy and population are straining the country's groundwater resources. A vast country, India, has a distinct and varying hydrogeological settings. Groundwater is the backbone of Indian agriculture and drinking water security in rural and urban area, meeting nearly 80% of country drinking water and 2/3 of the irrigation needs. Groundwater is pivotal to India's water security. The fact that the fact that the theme of UN World Water Day was groundwater, making the invisible visible, is a reflection of importance of it. The central government is working to achieve the goal of sustainable groundwater management in collaboration with the state and union territory. In this process, certain important deliverables have been identified that includes a reduction in groundwater extraction below 70%, increasing network of groundwater observation well, installing digital water level recorders for real-time monitoring, periodic monitoring of groundwater quality, aquifer mapping and data dissemination, having better regulation of groundwater extraction by industries, and promoting participatory groundwater management and even periodic groundwater and resource assessment. In May 2019, a much needed step of policy reform was done under the leadership of Prime Minister by creation of Jal Shakti Ministry. This was to give impetus to management of water resources. With a special focus on demand and supply management, realizing the importance of community participation, the Jal Shakti Abhiyan was launched. Subsequently, to transform Jan Shakti into Jal Shakti through asset creation, rainwater harvesting, catch the rain campaign, and extensive awareness campaign. A scientific approach so the second part is scientific approach. Initiatives have also been taken for an effective management and regulation of groundwater. Examples being Atal Bhujal Yojana and National Project for Aquifer Management. With goal of participatory groundwater management, Atal Bhujal Yojana looks to inculcate behavioral change and made possible by incentivization. NAQIM, which is nearing completion, envisages mapping of subsurface water bearing geological formulations to help gather authentic data and enable informed decision making. Around 24 lakh square kilometer of country has been mapped from available mappable area of nearly 25 lakh square kilometer. A heliborne based survey, state-of-art technology, has also been used along with traditional exploratory method for rapid and accurate aquifer mapping. The remaining area is likely to be mapped by March 2023. Reason why aquifer management plans are being prepared and shared with the state. There are around 65,000 monitoring stations in India, which include about 8,000 automated stations. The number are said to be beyond 84,000. In this, the number of automated stations will rise to 35,000 with a special focus and all those things are there. Okay, beside other quality related exercises, sample from fixed location are obtained to check the presence of heavy and trace material. Dynamic groundwater assessment will be done annually now on the groundwater estimation committee formed to devise. Okay, fine. India groundwater resource estimation system INGRESS has also been developed. The completion of groundwater assessment in 2022 is about 5 months. Shows that a time-bound and scientific approach being adopted to monitor precious water resources. The finding of groundwater assessment also indicate a positive inclination in management of groundwater. According to the latest assessment, there has been 3% reduction in number of overexploitation groundwater unit and 4% increase in number of safe category units as compared to 17. There were improvements in the groundwater condition in 909 units. The assessment also showed a reduction of annual extraction of about showed reduction in annual extraction of about 9.53 cubic meters. The data of irrigation, industrial and domestic use, etc. are this thing. Overall extraction saw a decline of about 3 and 1 by 4 means 3.25% since 2017. Some of this success may be attributed to implementation of comprehensive groundwater guidelines for regulation in various sectors, making the process of issuing no objection certificate also in the government intervention enabling a positive impact on overall groundwater scenario in India reflects the spirit of cooperative federalism in managing the precious resource. That around 9.37 BCM of additional groundwater potential has created through artificial water conservation structure is an example of this impact. Need for source sustainability. One of the fastest growing economies in India will need adequate groundwater resources to manage anthropogenic pressure. Okay, correct. It is important to ensure source sustainability to provide safe drinking water to all rural households by 2024 under Jal Jeevan Mission. Communities will have to manage their groundwater resources better with help of various government agencies and non-government organizations. This context of climate change and uncertainties will be seen in connection with groundwater resources. Effort must be made to find solution that is essential for sustainable development. The Groundwater Resources Assessment Report 2022 shows a brighter future for groundwater situation in the country, as the initiative taken by various governments having begun yielding results. This is how a new beginning and step must be taken into India to as a water surplus nation, thus fulfilling the objective of key United Nations Sustainable Development Goal. Okay. So it is an informatory article. Okay. And it is related to groundwater management. Now this is a very important article for GS3, GS1. Okay, and geography optional in particular, right? So they mark this as very important. Questions from this is coming in this year prelims, and obviously expect something in mains from there also, right? It is a very important article because it is given by a joint secretary level person, and it is published as one of the main articles today, right? So let's see the next news. Mark it down in your copies or in your diary, in your OneNote, wherever you make notes, mark it there, right? There was one more news of Mr. Shashikant Das. Okay, let's see this cheetah project first from South Africa thing. Cheetah project to bring in 12 cats from South Africa. Both countries signed a long pending agreement that allows for the translocation of 12 cheetah to Madhya Pradesh Kuno National Park. South Africa to send more batches for next 8-10 years. India and South Africa have finally signed a long pending agreement to translocate 12 cheetahs to India. The Environment Ministry, the cheetahs will be transported to India by February and reintroduced to Kuno National Park in Madhya Pradesh, where 8 such cats were brought from Namibia in September. The initial batch of cheetahs from South Africa will be followed by a transport of 12 annually for next 8 to 10 years. Okay, 12 annually, fine. A batch of animal has been under quarantine and ready to travel. The team from India will go to South Africa, choose the animal to be brought and accompany them in India or enclosures to hold the animal are ready. The memorandum of understanding on the introduction of cheetah has been signed, and let's see. The cheetahs from South Africa were expected to arrive at February end. Okay. In December, the PTI reported that a dozen of cheetah quarantined in South Africa for more than 4 months has lost their fitness in their want to be flown to Kuno National Park. 8 cheetahs, including 5 females, were flown from Windhoek, Namibia to Gwalior, followed by helicopter ride to grasslands of Kuno, Palpur. They were released into dedicated enclosures by Prime Minister. Thereafter, 5 of the cheetahs began hunting on their own and have largely adapted to the local environment. So, a good news, cheetah have adopted to the local environment, and yes, they should have, because India has been home of cheetahs for a long time, right? Okay. So, yes, current account deficit manageable, says RBI Governor. Let's see. Indian current account deficit is eminently manageable and within the parameters of viability, says Governor Shashikant Das at an event on Friday. India's average current account deficit stood at 3.3% of GDP for first 6 months of 22-23. The net balance under services and remittances remains in large surplus, okay, partly offsetting the trade deficit. Mr. Das said, okay, fine. He added that slowing global demand was weighing on merchandise export. Okay, so what is the reason for low merchandise export? Is the slowing global demand. Okay, the global demand which is slowing. Though the country's export of services and remittances remained strong, while the global environment has turned hostile and uncertain, the Indian economy remained resilient, Mr. Das said. Headline retail inflation has cooled in past couple of months but broadly remained high and having hovered at the upper end of central bank tolerance. Core inflation, however, remained sticky and elevated. Fine. So here you have to see two things. Three things. Current account deficit, balance of payment, and we have two more things, headline plus core inflation. Fine. So these four things are there that you need to understand. And it is important aspect also. If you have gone through the basics, then you must know these things. These are very common thing, right? So yes, we have completed today's newspaper analysis. I hope you like it. If you like it, consider subscribing the channel, liking the content, commenting, sharing, right? And with this I take your leave. So till time, you study hard and Jai Hind.